Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world and whenever you are tuning into this video. My name is James Porcelli, and welcome to another edition of the Ruthless Talk Podcast. Welcome, welcome. Yes. It's been a minute since I got some cheers, so that was very nice to hear. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is all about WWE Crown Jewel. So, yes, I did watch this show. I did not watch this Saturday morning. I was not going to wake up at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. to prep myself to watch the show because I just flat out did not want to. But I still watched this show, and we're going to talk about this show because a lot of people are praising this show. A lot of people are giving this show a lot of kudos. Wow, what a great show. So many good performances. Cena and Styles, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. This was such a good show. This was one of the best PLEs of the year, was it? Is this worth it? Was this actually worth for fans to wake up early on a Saturday morning to watch this PLE? Was it worth it? We're going to find out and we're going to talk about it because you guys know how I do business. You guys know how I do my due diligence. We are going to talk about this show. We're not going to sugarcoat. We are going to come at this with full honesty, like we always do. Full honesty that you guys deserve, the wrestlers deserve, and the wrestling industry deserves. Was this show worth the amount of money that WWE is telling everybody to pay? To pay more money now more than ever. Is this worth it? Is this product worth to talk about the next following day and for many days and weeks to come? We're gonna sit here, we're gonna be honest, and we're gonna talk about it. So if you are triggered, if you don't like what I have to say, then go find another platform because I don't know what to tell you. Because if you think I'm just gonna sit here and say how great of a show this was because of a certain grade that ESPN gave this show, then you got another thing coming because that's not what's going to happen. Was there some good things that we'll discuss? Sure. But we are still going to tell it like it is for how this PLE was yesterday. So without further ado, we are going to get straight into it. And speaking of this grade that was given out by ESPN, we're going to go over this final grade that ESPN Andreas Hale, I believe that's once again his name. My apologies if I'm botching his name, but we are going to discuss this grade, this final grade that he gave Crown Jewel. Was it accurate? Was he being very generous? Maybe too harsh? Well, we're gonna find out. I'm sure you guys know what the grade is, so we'll mention that later on in this episode. If you guys have not checked out previous shows as well, there is a Sports Corner episode number 11. We had a special guest join us, which was a great time talking the New York Giants and the Eagles, talking Philadelphia sports, Philly, and their massive choke job. If you guys have not checked that out, it is on all of our platforms right now. And of course, a weekly episode as far as our wrestling content, talking about WWE's creative bankruptcy. As far as that is concerned, there's everything going on in the WWE creative side of things, a little bit of AEW Title Tuesday, a little bit of NXT Showdown, and what their ratings were going head to head last week. So if you guys have not checked out all of those episodes, they're on all of our platforms right now. And definitely go check out those episodes if you haven't. And of course, you see the banner down below. Make sure that you follow Ruthless Talk on Instagram and TikTok. It is Ruthless_Talk. And of course, you guys can check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and on our YouTube channel. We are very, very near hitting the milestone, which is 500 subscribers on YouTube. So if you know a friend, if you know a fellow wrestling fan, make sure you guys have them subscribe and stay notified for some really good amplified wrestling content on a weekly basis. So thank you guys always for tuning in. Once again, we're going to be blunt. We're going to be honest. We're going to tell it like it is because it's what you guys deserve. It's what the wrestlers deserve. And it's what WWE needs to hear. So without further ado, finally, 10 years later, let's jump into it. The first matchup of the night was an Australian street fight. This was Bronson Reed, aka the Tribal Thief. What is he the Tribal Thief of? I don't know. He definitely doesn't have any shoes, so I don't know what else he's really the thief of anymore. But he's still called the Tribal Thief, and he's taking on the Tribal Chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns. What is an Australian street fight? I don't know. This pretty much, guys, in a nutshell, was a standard no disqualification match. That's what this was. And this is what WWE just loves to do. We just love to copy and paste the word Australia because that's where we're from, and we'll make it look cool and sound badass. Did they go into the street, James? Of course they didn't. Why would they? You know, a street fight is just where you just brawl in the ring, maybe brawl around ringside, maybe go through the crowd every once in a while, maybe up the rampway. You know, you'll use some kendo sticks and some trash can lids. The standard WWE street fight. If you've seen a street fight, you've seen them all. There was nothing else different about this street fight, this Australian street fight, than any of you guys have seen before. And that's just the honest truth. Prior going into this match, I didn't care because the build was just repetitive brawls, formulaic segments, and the actual street fight was a street fight that I've seen freaking, like I said, just... Anyway, let's move on. But in this match, of course, you had Braun Breaker get involved, and then you had the Usos get involved, and eventually this would lead to Jey Uso spearing Roman Reigns through a table, which cost him this match, so Bronson Reed picks up the W over Roman Reigns, and then there was some conflict, some tension between Roman Reigns and the Usos. Roman Reigns is like, listen, I love y'all, but I don't want to see y'all until Christmas. That's pretty much what he said. He wants to do things more on his own. He understands the narrative about him that he can't do things on his own. Whatever this is, this bloodline story that we're repeating on a loop, the same stuff that we saw 5 years ago is what we are telling in 2025. Because no matter how much you guys want to spin this and say this is good creative television, no, it's not. This is everything that Vince McMahon started. This is everything that Paul Heyman started within the bloodline, and they're doing the exact same story. There was no other tension. There is no other conflict that we have yet to see between Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, the Usos, and the bloodline. It's that simple. And I said it last episode with Brian this past Friday. Since Roman Reigns got his Ulafala back, because we needed for him to be on this massive quest for the Unafala, which also wasn't really told consistently as far as creativity. And once he was done with that, he was in a triple threat match at WrestleMania with nothing on the line. The only thing that was on the line was Paul Heyman's services, to where Seth Rollins got the upper hand, and we're seeing how this is turning out. This vision of dumbass group that already people are turning on because it just doesn't work. Seth and Heyman just don't click together, unlike Seth and Becky. But again, that's a different discussion for a different day. And everything that Roman Reigns is doing is not interesting. And the only thing that we have, the fact that we're so creatively bankrupt, that Triple H is so creatively bankrupt, let me take my father-in-law's story with the bloodline and do it all over again. Because that's what this is. There is no amount of tension and conflict that we haven't already seen with everybody involved. Where can you go with this? We've seen matches with Roman and Jay. We've seen conflict with Jimmy Uso and Roman. Where can you go with this? You can't go anywhere with this. And that's the problem. So Bronson Reed wins this match. Is it the right call? Sure. I mean, we need heels in this company. But Roman Reigns is taking the back seat. He's collecting the L. And it's not benefiting him either. Or at least for just him specifically. It could benefit, Bronson Reed and maybe Braun Breaker alongside. We hope so. And as they should be collecting W's and they should feel dominance because they freaking took out Roman Reigns at Clash, it would just be like weird for you to just do all of this for Bronson Reed and for him to just lose against Roman Reigns. And again, I don't know what this match is even for because Roman Reigns got his payoff against Bronson Reed by getting his shoes back. So again, what was this Australian street fight for? Just to create chaos and oohs and ahs from the crowd to once again just to appease the live attendance audience. Because I assure you, Roman Reigns and everything that he has done over the past several months has been very underwhelming. Triple H has cooked this dude to no end in sight. Ever since WrestleMania ended, back in WrestleMania 40, if you have not watched anything from that point on till now, you would have not missed anything. Anything. And it's a shame, man. Because Roman Reigns no longer feels like he was as the tribal chief, as the bona fide diabolical heel, and as a babyface under Triple H's regime. He's just very, I don't want to say average, but just not as special. There's nothing interesting that he's involved in. He's in formulaic segments with Bronson Reed in the Vision. He was in formulaic segments even with Solo Sikoa and his fake-ass bloodline. He was in a triple threat, for God's sake, with no title on the line other than for, again, Paul Heyman's services. And how's that turning out for him and Seth Rollins? A lot of people are already sick and tired of the faction. It was already DOA before it even started. So how did that turn out for WrestleMania? The one match that a lot of people also praised, and look how it's turning out. So, yeah, it's a street fight. You put Australia in front of street fight, and you expect people to care. Newsflash, nobody does. Nobody cares. The only thing memorable was using a cricket bat in this match. That's it. Or at least the only thing that had some sort of Australian theme to it. But God forbid we go into the street. No. Forget, having wrestlers fight in a street to do a street fight, right? Go out in the streets of Australia. No, you could frickin', close out a certain block, frickin' anywhere, right? It's going to cost you some money, right? It's going to take some time and effort, but you're going to create really damn good television. A Philly street fight, go into the streets of Philly. New York street fight, go into New York City, fight on a subway. Do whatever the fuck you have to do to actually make it organic, and not even organic, but just to make it feel different or actually feel like a street fight. If you've seen a street fight, you've seen them all. There was nothing Australian about a street fight. It was dull, and it was nothing else that I haven't already seen when it comes to a street fight. So if you want to once again ask me, was this worth waking up at Saturday morning at 8 a.m. with the amount of money that people are paying to watch this product? No, it's just not. But don't worry, man. We're creating conflict with Roman Reigns and the Usos. We're creating the wedge between the family again, like we did 5 fucking years ago. Everything that you are witnessing is stuff we have already seen before. There is no other tension. There's nothing else that you need to see that we haven't already seen 5 years ago to what we haven't already seen now. That's how creatively bankrupt we are. That's how creatively bankrupt Triple H is, to rest on everything that his father-in-law has done. But this was a great show. This was a great show. This was great. This was fantastic. This was the best PLE of the year. And we're off to a riveting start. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are just still mid-card. I'm sorry, guys, but that's the truth. It's going to take more than just repetitive matches with Roman Reigns to do that, because that's all that Roman Reigns has done over the last several months. He fought Bronson at Clash. He got his shoes back, but we didn't have enough chaos and extracurricular activity, at that point. So let's do some more, and let's call it an Australian street fight, because that's where the show is. Come on. And you want me to pray, and you want me to praise this shit, dude? Come on. Enough. Let's move on. I've spoken enough than I already needed to. We then go to the ladies. This was a singles match between Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. This is pretty much for the Crown Jewel Championship and to also get a diamond ring on their finger. Stephanie wins this match with a corkscrew moonsault. I forget the finisher that she calls it. But she wins the match over Tiffany. No issue with it at all. As far as Tiffany is concerned and who needed this victory more, yeah, I would say it was Stephanie. It's unfortunate, though, with Tiffany Stratton, because she had an undefeated streak, and you could have told a story or some semblance of a story of her undefeated streak, but she lost it at a Crown Jewel show for a Crown Jewel Championship and a diamond ring. So, yeah, man, it was a match. It was a match, and then who comes out after the matchup? It's Triple H. It's Hunter Hearst Helmsley, because you already see so much of Hunter Hearst Helmsley all over this product with with voiceovers and introductions and commercials. We gotta get more of Triple H. So he's got to, he's presenting the title. It's a very sentimental moment. And I'm going to say this about Triple H, man, because this dude is weird. Like the way that he like confronts his female talent is just very odd. Like Stephanie went to go for a handshake, and then like Triple H no-selled the handshake and just gave her a nice big hug. He rests his forehead onto Stephanie's head, like how you were to pet your cat or your dog. It was fucking weird, man. It's this Triple H and how he confronts his women's talent is very, very weird. He's like this father figure, right? And he's like telling them all how special you are, and you're a great talent. This is your moment. Don't let anyone take it away from you. You're the best. Yada yada yada. I don't even know. It's just weird. It's such odd behavior. Guys, go back and watch it. It's just here, I'm going to put this tile around you. Now come here. I want to give you a big hug and tell you how proud I am of you. You've done such a great job. Don't tell anyone that you're not good enough. And, you've deserved it. You've earned this. It's just okay. It's just even in if you watch, and I don't watch the show at all. I've mentioned this before, like WWE Unreal. I've seen clips that people have sent me about Triple H, and I think it was Triple H and Rhea Ripley. They were having a moment, hugging backstage, and Triple H just sits into this hug and whispering in Rhea Ripley's ear, just trying to uplift her. It's oh, I'm so proud of you. you're doing such a great job. You've come such a long way. Don't tell anyone you're not good enough, whatever. And you can see the awkwardness in Rhea Ripley's face. Like it's just like Triple H is trying to be Papa H, right? Like that was like the slogan in NXT when he was working in NXT. It's just like, dude, these are grown ass women that don't need to be talking to like you're their dad. It's fucking odd behavior. And just like the way that he just physically touches them, it's weird. Like, would you see Dana White freaking doing this to his female talent in UFC? Like, what the fuck? There's clips on WWE Unreal with people like with Rhea Ripley, and now you see it with Stephanie Vaquer in the middle of the ring. It's just a cringe, awkward, and just bizarre exchange. It's and listen, this is the same. This is coming from the same dude that took Test out of a storyline to be with Stephanie McMahon, that kicked China to the curb, teaching Trish Stratus some wrestling moves before a match or something like that. This was years and years ago, obviously when Triple H was a performer. Like, I'm just saying, dude, like we talk about Vince McMahon a certain degree, like once again, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, man. I'm just seeing a lot of weird behavior, bro. A lot of weird behavior. With some of his female talent. It's just like okay, it's just, present them the title, congratulations, like. So, but James, but like it's a sentimental moment. It's like a sport. It's supposed to be a big deal. That, first of all, that's the first problem, because like, once again, professional wrestling is not a sport. We're trying so hard to make professional wrestling in the same category as a professional sport. It's not going to work. This is not the UFC. This is not basketball. This is not football. It's completely different. But here we are. That this is what we're doing. So the match was the match. Again, I'm still waiting to see anything interesting that Stephanie is going to do with this championship. I'm still waiting. Hopefully that changes this coming Monday on Raw. Hopefully, I don't know. But yeah, it was a match. Once again, man, this is going to be the question for this entire episode. Forget if this was good. Forget if it was bad. I mean, I'm past that. I'm so beyond past it. Was this match worth to wake up on a Saturday morning and pay an substantial amount of money that you're paying a month to watch this match? And if you're being honest with yourself, the answer is once again, no, it wasn't. It was two baby faces in a match. You're splitting your audience for a diamond ring. That's what this is for. That's all this was for. And the biggest takeaway is honestly Triple H is consulting Stephanie Vaquer like a fucking weirdo. It's just, again, man, if you look back at WWE Unreal and some of the clips there and just the exchange between him and Stephanie, resting his forehead on Stephanie's forehead, telling her how proud she is of her, and never let anyone tell that you're not good enough and you've earned this moment. Like, all right, to a certain degree, like, dude, like, do you have to like prolong you physically touching these women? Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's very odd behavior, bro. It's very fucking odd. So anyway, let's on that note, let's just move on, as I think this is going off the rails, but let's just move on, shall we? And then we get to Cena and Styles. John Cena versus AJ Styles. This is what got everybody talking, right? The match that didn't need a story. That's what AJ Styles said this past Monday. Pretty much Triple H in a nutshell, telling all of his fans to say, hey, this match doesn't need a story. You're going to shut up. You're going to sit in your seat and you're going to like the matchup. That's pretty much what it was in a nutshell. So the match happens, and there was a lot of finishers. none of them did the job. And speaking of finishers, we'll get to that whole thing in the main event. Um, Styles hitting a sweet chin music, Cena hitting an RKO, Cena paying tribute to Rey Mysterio, attempting to do a 619, doing Sister Abigail. I mean, as a Bray Wyatt fan, I did enjoy that to a certain degree. And yeah, I mean, it was a finisher spam. If there were two words that I can describe this match, it was finisher spam. That's what this was. And Cena wins this match. They show mutual respect because we just love wrestlers showing mutual respect. We go back to the wrestling as a sport thing, right? To where every sport, it's like rec baseball. Good game, good game, good game. We do that with majority of our freaking talent because it's all about the good wrestling match and the good performance. It's going to kick ass and we're going to put on a performance of a lifetime. That's all freaking wrestling is now. So look, man, people are really are going all out with how this matchup took place. Wow, this was such a good match. This was amazing. This was a banger, of course. That's still the phrase that people use. This was arguably one of the best matches of the year. Like all the things that you would hear from the IWC and from wrestling fans, right? Now, let me be honest with you, as I always will continue to be, and especially in this episode, especially for this match. Was this to a degree very fun? Sure, it was. Absolutely. There was nothing bad necessarily about the match. Was the matchup fun? Yes, absolutely. There was nothing bad about this match whatsoever. They both did their thing for what was given to them, and it was very much different to what they have originally done in the past. And yeah, it was a fun match. It was fun. It was a match. But once again, two words: finisher spam. This was a bunch of finishers thrown at one another that never gotten the job done, and it became a farce. That's what this was. It was an absolute farce. To a certain degree, if you want to pay tribute to Bray Wyatt and you want to pay tribute to The Undertaker, all of John Cena's past foes and rivalries throughout the course of 25 years. Because that's the only thing that we can latch onto with John Cena, because everything that we've gotten up to this point with John Cena's retirement tour has been legit creative bankruptcy. From the heel turn to the entire run as a heel to how he turned back face, it's all been a mess. To Brock Lesnar, to the one-off with Logan Paul, it's all been an absolute dud, and it's been an absolute train wreck. And for this to be the only thing that we can latch onto is that he's paying tribute to Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio and Edge and Randy Orton and Triple H and Frankie Kazarian and Chris Jericho and all of John Cena's past foes and rivals. Cool. But then it goes on and on and on and on. I never got the sense that this match was supposed to be taken seriously. Because people want me to sit here and say that their match that they had several years ago, I believe it was at SummerSlam, and I believe that's how John Cena won his 16th World Championship. You expect me to sit up here and say that this match for Crown Jewel, a match and a finisher spam of a match, has more value for the amount of money that you're paying to see it leading up to it than the match that you saw years ago for less money? That was also, if we're just being honest, was a 10 times better match. Come on, dude. Once again, you expect me to just go with the whole crowd and just say, this was great. No. It was thrown together last minute, and all they had, their only answer was for AJ Styles to go out there and say, the match doesn't need a story. Because what? Because there's history? because that's all we do with storylines. Because as long as there's history and we do some face-to-face segments, we repeat everything that the IWC says about each other, and we're going to just say that there's heat and it's a feud. So we go creatively bankrupt. So let's just have John Cena go out there and have a match with AJ Styles, because a collective amount of people in the wrestling world want to see another AJ Styles and John Cena match. And the only thing that you have to latch onto, the only thing left with 4 dates left in John Cena's retirement tour, the only thing that you have to latch onto is for him to do a bunch of finishing moves of past wrestlers and talents that once again never got the job done. It was just finisher spam. All these finishers, it was never, if I'm being honest, it was really never meant. Was it really meant to be taken seriously? Like, fuck, it was like Randy Orton's finisher, then Chris Jericho's finisher. You would usually see that maybe once or twice a match. Like, oh, he just hit him with his own move. Then he did this move. But then it becomes a farce when it continues throughout the match for 10, 15, 20 plus minutes. So if you want my honesty, there it is. It was a match. It was fun. It was somewhat different, but it was a farce. 2 words, finisher, spam. If you want my honesty, that's what it was. Finisher spam is what this match was, to where you hit a bunch of finishers. They never do anything to the opponent. And I'm supposed to sit here and praise the match and how this was the match of the year. This match was so good. This was a banger. This was amazing. I've seen better matches between these two, dude. Several years ago. This was a finisher spam of a match versus the matchup they had several years ago that was just flat out 10 times better, and that there was actually a story. Was it a great story being told? That's debatable. But there was a story. I mean, again, if you're triggered, if you feel a certain type of way, what do you want me to sit up here and say? Do you want me to lie? Do you want me to sit here and say that, yeah, I woke up at 8:00 in the morning on a Saturday morning when everybody's working probably Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and they have to wake up super early when usually I'm sure a lot of people on the weekends when they're off, they get to sleep in a little bit. But no, I want to see John Cena hit a spam of wrestling finishers. That's really worth 10 times the amount of money that I'm paying for now than watching the same 2 wrestle years ago for less money. Come on. Be fucking honest, man. Was the match fun? Yeah, I'll give you fun. But dude, I'm past fun. I want to be captivated with what I'm watching. I want to be invested into the match going into it instead of resting on history for John Cena's retirement tour. And the only thing that, once again, that you have to latch onto is just John Cena just paying tribute to all of his previous foes and talents that he's wrestled with for 25 years. Great. So if you want my honesty, there it is, dude. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was a match. It was a finisher spam. It was a nostalgic act. And it was nothing more than nothing less. It was not a banger. It was not excellent. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't the match of the year. Stop. Enough. I'm just, man, the things that we do to blow shit out the water is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it was fun. It had, listen, to a degree with the finishers, yeah, it was fun. But at what point does it just become silly? You know? Because I watched this match and I'm like, is this match supposed to be taken seriously? We're just seeing a collection of just other wrestlers' finishers. So there you go. 4 dates left, And this is what we have to look forward to with John Cena hitting a collective amount of finishing moves of other wrestlers and other talents. And he's got 4 dates left. He's got 2 Monday Night Raws, he's got Survivor Series, and he's got Saturday night's main event. So there you go. Let's move on. I'm done. Let's move on from this, man. You got a women's tag match. This was Rhea and Io Sky taking on Kairi Sane and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors. Rhea Ripley hits the Riptide to Kairi Sane. Io Sky hits her moonsault onto Kairi Sane to pick up the W. The babyface win this match, and that was it. Again, this was a generic tag match that you could have saw on SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. Once again, I ask, for the amount of money that you are paying to watch a show, right? Not a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown. That's bad enough, because if you're watching Raw, you're already paying $10 a month. That shit's not even worth frickin' $10 a month, the way that the way that creativity is being run on that show. But on ESPN, you're expecting something big, something to really catch a headline, right? As far as storytelling, something. And you got nothing. You got a generic tag match. There was nothing different about this tag match than what you could have saw on a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. Guys, that is just the honest truth that I'm giving you. This is not PLE worthy. This is not a match that's worth for me to wake up at Saturday morning. Luckily, I didn't have to do that. But unfortunately, a lot of other people got up to watch this match, unfortunately, or at least this show. And they're paying $30 a month, of course, depending on what subscription service and what cable provider that they have. But on top of all these other platforms that they're paying for, they are waking up on a Saturday morning to watch a match that they could have just watched on a Monday night or a Friday night, on a weekly show. And that's the truth. Was Asuka protected? Yeah, she was. Will this eventually lead to probably Io Sky and Asuka in a one-on-one matchup? Sure. In a cultivating moment? Absolutely. Is it going to be told properly? I really doubt it. I've said this for a couple weeks. This has been a decent middle-of-the-card feud. And if this is the best you have to offer, then you have some fucking issues. You have Rhea Ripley that doesn't really even need to be in this scenario, but we need somebody to fight alongside Io Sky against the Kabuki Warriors. Let's throw Rhea Ripley in there. At least she's not thrusted into the world title picture, because that title around Rhea Ripley's waist doesn't do anything for her anyway. She doesn't even need that championship. It hasn't done anything for her. Her last 2 world title reigns is pretty evident of that. But we got to get Rhea Ripley on the card. I mean, this woman bashes wrestling fans more than she does being involved in creative storylines and matches as of late. That's just the truth, honestly, because when I watch Rhea Ripley, I'm not captivated. I don't feel anything. I'm not invested into anything that what she's doing. And once again, she's more invested of bashing fans than she is putting on good creative television, or at least being a part of good creative television. So, yeah, it's a tag match, guys. It's just a tag match. Like, do you really want me to sit here and lie and BS with you? What do you want me to say? I could have watched this in the middle of the week on a Raw or SmackDown Monday night or Friday night. That's just the truth. Io Sky and Rhea win the match and nothing else happened after that. Will this evolve on Monday Night Raw? I hope so. But for how everything transpired, there was nothing else that was needed to see, nor that anybody needs to go back and watch. Main event was Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, once again for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship and for the Crown Jewel Diamond Ring. Seth Rollins took a crossroads from the second rope or from the top rope and miraculously kicks out. But it's Seth Rollins that hits a watch over Cody Rhodes' face, and Cody Rhodes is down and out. And I'll get to the watch thing in just a second, but I mean, like, dude, guys, like finishers, man, are just a joke. No, we talk about wrestlers not being protected. Finishers are are just as worse. I mean, like seriously, like you have matches to where, yeah, it might take a finisher or two, maybe something off the top rope or something to finally put the, you know, the badass heel or the top face down and out, right? To make the move look prestigious and to make it believable, right? Because it's a devastating move. Like you ain't kicking out after that. Seth Rollins kicks out and he delivers a stop afterwards, and he wins the match via a watch. Cody Rhodes just gets knocked out with a watch, man. But James, it's Seth Rollins, and he got his redemption over Cody. He proved himself that he could beat Cody Rhodes, guys. Like what? I mean, I get it. He lost to Cody Rhodes 3 times. Okay, he's your world champion. He's on top of the world. He's with Paul Heyman. He's got a faction. He's got two behemoths of bodyguards in Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. He's got a wife who's the women's Intercontinental Champion now alongside him. We do this whole thing with our heels because we did this with Gunther. He did this with Damian Priest. Every single heel you come across, they have to inflict such doubt. Like, I don't know if I can beat this dude. Oh man, after that face-to-face argument, I'm starting to question my own ability. Like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, like, Jesus Christ. And we build it up to where Paul Heyman is like making this such a big deal. Well, Seth, if you don't beat Cody, I'm questioning why I picked you. Bronson and Braun Breaker are going to question this whole idea and vision that you have. Dude, he's your world champion. He's on top of the world. Like, all right, if you want to exercise some demons to beat Cody Rhodes, like, again, we've already done that before. You're just, again, it's a formulaic way out for all of our heels to do, at least as of late under Triple H's booking. But, like, guys, it's for a fucking ring. It's for a diamond ring. It's for this championship that they wear. That's just for pictures. That's just for the headlines, because they're not even going to travel around with it. It's not even going to get back to the United States. It's this ugly championship that's just like humongous. It's just, again, it's just all for all for the money. It's just all for this, right? Because we don't give a fuck about what the wrestling fans want to see. We don't care about why they are criticizing the product. We don't want to listen to what they have to say. You're just going to sit here and you're going to like what we dish out to you. I mean, finisher after finisher after finisher, finisher off the top rope. I mean, is any finisher protected anymore? The only move that's not protected that nobody could kick out of is a roll up, and we know how that can frickin' transpire on people. I mean, my God, dude, it's just, once again, I ask, with everything that you have witnessed between Seth and between Cody, fighting in Hell in a Cell, the match that they had when Cody Rhodes had a torn pec, and everything that they've been through, WrestleMania 38 when Cody Rhodes returned to WWE, you want me to sit here and tell you that with the amount of money, once again, the amount of money you are paying, and to wake up on Saturday morning, early on a Saturday morning, to watch this product, to watch Seth win a ring, to watch Stephanie win a ring, pose to the hard cam, no cliffhanger, just the pyro going off, and Stephanie and Seth pose to the hard cam because they won a cool diamond ring, right? Like winning the Super Bowl. achieving this massive accomplishment for a title that's not even going to go back to the States. That's for a marketing ploy. Stop. And you want me to sit here and bullshit that this was a good show? Come on, guys. Watch the match for yourself. These finishers are never, ever protected anymore. You had Seth Rollins kick out of a crossroads from the top rope, from the second rope, and Seth Rollins is kicking out. He could have dropped from the fucking top of the arena. He still would have fucking kicked out. I get it, man. You also have to protect the wrestler itself to where they don't look weak. But you also gotta make things also believable for the talent and for the move that's being performed. Like John Cena hitting all of these finishers. The finisher, we're hitting the spam button on repeat of finishers, and nothing's getting the job done. These are other people's finishers that you're using, and Styles and Cena are just kicking out of all of them. And nobody wants to say a word. Nobody wants to say anything. But these are good wrestling matches. These are good performances. Yeah, to a degree, yes, they are. But once again, is it really worth watching? Is it going to be talked about the day after and the day after that, weeks and months from now? The answer is no, it's not. And then we get into this grade, because I'm done with reviewing anything from this show. Again, you got good performances, some good nostalgia in the John Cena Styles match. You got a street fight that was no different than any other street fight, just Australian, just attached before the street fight name. You got the bloodline that's on autopilot. You got Roman Reigns' booking is absolutely cooked thanks to Triple H, because he has nothing else but to liquidate what Vince McMahon did, or what he has done, along with Paul Heyman, because that's also his creativity as well. We got to put baby faces with other baby faces. We got to have frickin' Triple H come out, and he's got to be in the middle of the show. He's got to be at the beginning of the show. He's got to show his face at the end of the show. It's all about Triple H as well. But let's get to this grade, because Andreas Hale gave this grade a B. Yeah, he gave it a B right now. Do I think it's generous? Very fucking generous. Generous is an understatement, honestly. But it's not even just the grade itself, because there are some things that I definitely agree with him of how he reviews each match. And obviously there's some things that I don't agree with as far as how he dissects this match. But let's start off with the street fight, right? Once again, we talk about how just uncreative and inept the street fight lingo is, right? This is what was said from Andreas Hale, and I quote: this was pretty standard, no disqualification match disguised as an Australian street fight. So there you go. He gave this grade a C. That's being very generous. A lot of generosity still from these grades. This match was dull by the last man standing match by Aleister Black and Damian Priest that I did mention in the last episode. That actually had a decent finish, by the way. If we're comparing from this review, if we're comparing that to this, yeah. Because at least maybe something like Selena and Aleister, you can build and follow up with it. There's nothing you can follow up with the bloodline anymore, guys. It's done. It's dragged through the mud. Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vaquer gave it a C-. C-. I once again think that that's being freaking generous. Champion versus champion match without any real stakes or heat. I mean, what's there to say? He left off at the fact that they're both faces, but I digress. This was the very last quote. The women deserve more. I would go as far to say as they've earned more, because in 2025, the women have been carrying the load in this company. Honestly, to Naomi, to Becky Lynch, to a lot of the women in NXT. So yeah, it's just there you go. No real stakes or no heat. It was a wrestling match for the sake of a wrestling match, guys. This is what I mean, man. So again, even though there were some things with Andreas Hell that I don't agree with, but there are some things here, if we're all being honest, that are spot on. Very, very spot on. We get to John Cena and AJ Styles, and he grades this an A. He gives John Cena and AJ Styles an A for this match. And he talks about how unique it was and different from their previous affairs, and just yeah, I mean it was different, all right. If I mean to a certain degree, I mean if you're trying to make it somewhat different than what their previous matchups was, I mean, okay. And like I mentioned, it was a fun match to what it was, but I'm sorry, for me watching it, I got no sense that it was supposed to be taken seriously, because it's one thing to hit someone else's finisher and then to do it again and then maybe do it a third time. It was the entire match, or at least like 75% of the match. And we're saying that this is the best match of the entire year. It's a finisher spam of other wrestling finishing moves. Stop, man. It's fucking come on. So, all right, yeah, unique, different from their previous affairs. All right, fine, whatever. Um, and then we go into Rhea Ripley's Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane. Grades it a B. Mainly it's about the fact that Asuka was protected in this match, and she was. Absolutely she was. Ain't no way she was going to take this pinfall. Kyrie has her place in the storyline. It's like Kairi Sane and Lyra Valkyria, they're like being held against their will. It's like grown ass women are just like their mannerisms and how they're being presented. It's just very like weird, and it's stuff that a grown ass woman wouldn't like react a certain way. I don't know, but that's what Kyrie's doing. Is this worth paying for? The amount of money that you're paying for these PLEs, is this worth watching this match to where you could have watched it on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown? It's a fair question. Like, I'm just being honest with you guys, man. Yeah, sure. Asuka was protected. The right outcome was made. Even for Bronson Reed, I thought that was the right call to a degree. But it's unfortunate that Roman Reigns and his booking is so cooked, because he's in this bloodline shit that doesn't end. We're going back 5 years with creating a wedge with the Usos and his cousins. And then maybe they're going to freaking what? They're going to add that conflict going into Survivor Series War Games. Like, again, man, it's just, at the same time, I get what Andreas Hale is saying. I get it as I'm actually reading this article, but there's a lot of stuff that is very generous on his part. Very, very generous. Outside of the nostalgia, outside of the in-ring wrestling, the in-ring performances, what was worth $30 a month? What was worth paying triple the amount of money that WWE is asking to pay you? That's right, you watching this. Because we continue to lower our bar. We continue to give this company a pass. And the more that we do that, the more that you're letting WWE off the hook. Point blank, period. And yeah, no question, honesty is just not about ripping everything apart. We talked about how, yeah, Asuka was protected, and yeah, frickin' Cena and Styles was fun for the most part, no question. These matches, and for what it was, I mean, outside of the finishers that just are no longer protected, I mean, we go through finishers like a bag of Skittles. Like, I mean, freaking finisher after finisher after finisher, and nothing gets the job done. But yeah, if you want to say that they did their part for what was given to them, okay. But guys, good wrestling is not the issue in this company. We see enough good wrestling. Wrestling on a wrestling show. Wow, that's fantastic. Awesome. I would hope so. But there was no suspense leading up to the show. 5 of these matches were added on to the last minute of this card. There was no creativity, there was no urgency, there was no suspense, there was nothing. And the suspense that you did mesh up with Seth and maybe a few things here and there with Roman Reigns and doing this bloodline shit all over again, you made Seth look like a sympathetic character. Asking for Paul Heyman's word, like, what happens if I don't beat Cody? It's like, well, I'm gonna question why I didn't pick Roman Reigns over you. You're gonna feel sympathetic for Seth. Oh, he's gotta win now. He's gotta win. Seth Rollins has gotta win. That's what you're subconsciously thinking. That's what the common wrestling fan is gonna freaking think. Oh, well, damn, man, Seth's gotta freaking win at this point. Why would you paint that image for Seth? He's your only diabolical heel that you're also not really freaking showcasing well enough because you give him a theme song that people pander to. You have heels that don't feel like heels. You got face having conflict with other faces, and you expect me to say that everything about this show and how it was built up, it was great, right? That's what you want me to say? Well, then I would be lying to you, bro. So Crown Jewel was supposedly a B. I mean, generosity or being generous is a massive understatement. I thought a C from WrestlePalooza was even generous. And for a lot of people, we know how alarming that was. That was the biggest talking point coming out of that show than anything that happened during WrestlePalooza. It's a shame, man. It really is, because unless Triple H is no longer running things creatively, until there is accountability within those suits and ties, until they actually start to listen, until they've possibly maybe have hit rock bottom, nothing's going to change, man. But we're going to fight the good fight, and we're going to let this company know that what you are doing is not fun, it's not interesting, it doesn't make sense, and it's not worth what you are asking us to pay. The amount of money that you are pricing people out, families, middle class, it's not worth it. So yeah, collect your money now, because 5 to 10 years from now, that's going to dry out, like I've always said, and I'm going to continue to say it. So there you go, man. That's my full-on honesty on the show. And was this a good show? Was this a bad show? To be honest with you guys, I'm past that. I'm past just telling you if this was good or if this was bad. To end the show, I'm going to end with the same question that I've been repeatedly saying in this podcast, in this episode, in this review. Was this worth the amount of money that you are paying, triple the amount, to watch the show? Is this worth waking up early on a Saturday morning to watch finisher spam, finishers being kicked out, matches with no heat, street fights for the sake of street fights, a show that had no build or no real suspense going into it, marketing ploys for wrestlers to win championships that are not even going to be transferred to the States? You tell me, man. Is this worth it to you? Because it's not worth it to me, and I know I'm sure it's, and I know for a fact that I'm not alone. So we can kid ourselves and we can create fake enthusiasm and tell everybody how great of a show was and how it was better than WrestlePalooza. I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I'm not going to sit here and make that statement. What I saw was a match card that was thrown together last minute. What I saw was a massive marketing ploy. What I saw was matches with no heat. I watched a Cena Styles match that was a farce of finishers that didn't get the job done. I watched a street fight with nobody in a street to fight in, a bloodline storyline that is being told on repeat 5 years ago, and I'm supposed to praise it? Really? Come on, bro. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch this show live. I'm glad that I had other things to do, more other priorities to do that were much more important than to watch this garbage. And I watched it afterwards. I did my due diligence, and that's my honest take on it, man. So, we can kid ourselves and say that we had good in-ring wrestling, we had good performances, but once again, the in-ring wrestling is not the issue. It's because we don't have interesting, captivating storylines, nothing being built. There's no heat. There's no cliffhangers. There's no diabolical heels, face versus face, heel versus heel matches, splitting your audience. So many fucking issues. And we continue to give this company and Triple H a pass. For what? For what? We want to sit here, and I get it. We want to support the wrestlers and everything that they do, and we want to latch onto something. We want to latch onto something to be entertained. I understand completely. And like I said, there was some things that even in the Styles and Cena match that I said, it was fun. But once again, I'm past with just saying, "Oh, this was good," or "Oh, this was not so good." I'm past that. I think we should we should all be beyond past that. So if you want honesty, you want truth, there's the truth for you. The truth shall set you free. And I'm going to continue to do such as long as I still have this platform, and as long as I still have you guys that continue to support this platform. And I'm going to do my due diligence, because it's what the wrestlers deserve to hear is the truth. It's what you guys, the listeners, deserve to hear is the truth. And it's what WWE Suits and Ties and other wrestling promotions, but mainly WWE, that they need to hear. So that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to another review show. This was WWE Crown Jewel 2025, October 11th of 2025. This was my full, honest review of this show yesterday in Perth, Australia. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, you see the banner down below. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and TikTok. That is ruthless_talk. Make sure you guys stay tuned for our next upcoming episode, which is this coming Friday. With our new format, you guys will be getting episodes every single Friday, weekly, with me and Brian shooting the shit. What are we going to talk about this coming Friday? Well, you got to stay tuned to see what those topics are going to be for our next episode, for episode number 10 of the Ruthless Talk podcast for season number 9. So as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for the love. Thank you guys so much for the support. Once again, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure that you guys get us to 500 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys for continuing to take this platform to new heights that I never thought imaginable. You guys are the best as well. Again, like I mentioned, our social medias, we have continuing to hit milestones on those platforms as well. And, like I always say, man, I'm honest. I don't sugarcoat. I don't bullshit. And neither does Brian. And this company's gotten so bad, he won't even watch the product. He won't even do these review shows with me. And I say to him, bro, I don't blame you. I will hold down the fort, and I will do the due diligence to still spread what needs to be said. I appreciate y'all. And as always, stay tuned for much more content to come. This was your WWE Crown Jewel 2025 review for August 11th, 2025. That is going to do it for today's episode, everybody. My name is James Porcelli. I am signing off. Salute. Peace out. and take care, everybody. Toodles.